Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. Maybe you will remember this sword brother from my video about the main reason for me why it's so important to prime the miniatures, and the paint is still coming out of this one. But anyway, today I'm going to promote this sword brother into a custom sergeant for my Black Templars. As you may know, sword brothers were kinda not very efficient in game in previous edition of Warhammer 40k. That's why I decided to transform them into custom sergeants, because of course it's super cool if you take this miniature and you make this the sergeant of the generic Space Marines. It looks super into the theme of the Black Templars, and that's why I really like it. So today I'm going to promote this one. It's not the first one that I say that I made that in the channel, but for this one I have this inspiration of this Sternguard veteran sergeant that I saw in Warhammer community, and I thought like, oh, that's super cool, I would like to have something similar to that, and I thought that this miniature is a perfect candidate. And for doing that, I'm going to change the loadout first of all. I really like this axe. It's going to be a pity to remove it. I will try to use it for some other miniature, but I'm going to remove the axe and I'm going to give it a Power Fist. This one is the one that came in the Assault Intercessor kit, but I think that this really suits into the pose of the miniature. And then of course I will change the heavy ball pistol that I glued very badly in the moment because it's heading up. I will change this one into a regular ball pistol. This one comes in the kit of the Eradicators. This is Gravis armor, but I think that it will look not bad because, as you can see, it's like a mechanic hand, so there's not much that you can see here of the power armor. And also the Black veterans have like this bigger shoulder pads, so it shouldn't look that bad and it shouldn't interfere with the cape, hopefully. But anyway, so the first step is going to be remove the arms, and then I will remove the paint, glue the miniature together, prime it, and it should look it should be able to start it should be able for me to start painting it. And hopefully it should look much better, because this is like one of the first miniatures that I paint when I came back to Warhammer 40k, so the results should be much better than this one. Let's hope that it will be super cool looking miniature in the end, and let's start painting this awesome new sergeant. Basically, this is what I have right now. As you can see, it was quite easy to separate all the bits from the miniature, because of course I didn't glue it properly back in the day, so it was quite simple. And the only change now is that, of course, this shoulder pad, it's not going to fit this arm right here. Wait, this arm right here, because this one is like Gravis armor, so it's not going to fit. But it's okay, because I will use one of these ones, and I'm sure that some other Black Templar from my army will appreciate to receive these shoulder pads at some point. And of course this is meant to be Sternguard veteran sergeant. I'm going to give him like a 32mm base. This is one of the ones that I took from the Intercessors that I used from the impulsor that I made. It's like one of the push fit ones, but once I cover it, it's not going to be noticeable, so it's okay. And now I will just glue the miniature. It's going to be a little bit of a challenge. I hope that this power fist will suit nicely, because as you can see, this shoulder pad is connected directly to the cape, so I'm going to need to have it like in the perfect position. So let's hope that it will look nice. Let's assemble this miniature. And this is how it's looking for now. Not bad. I like the pose. It looks quite natural actually. That makes me very happy, especially because I use bits from different kits. And the next step, of course, it's going to be wait for the green stuff to dry. I covered the gap that was here in the cape, and the leftover one of the hat I added here in the bottom to add more stability because it was dancing a little bit still. And that's it. I will wait 24 hours for the green stuff to dry completely, and then I will prime the miniature with Chaos Black from Citadel, and then I will apply technical azuranite debris in the base of the miniature, and then we will be able to start painting it. So let's continue. And as you can see, this is how the miniature is looking right now. I prime it with Chaos Black, and of course I applied a very thin layer of Abaddon Black because of course if I make any mistake in the future I will use this color to correct, and I want to have the same tone of black. So this is why I give it like a very thin layer of this one, just because of consistency. And aside from that, you can see also that the technical paint is right, and the next step for me is going to be the inside of the cape. That it's going to be the more challenging part. There's some smart people out there that they will like paint the cape and then glue it into the miniature, so the result will be easier. But in my case, I like to suffer, so I will suffer with the inside of the cape right now. And as it's black and I want the inside to be this whitish color, the same as this cloth in the front, I will use first of all downstone to cover the black areas in the inside and the cloth of the miniature, and then I will apply a layer of Wraithbone that I will need to shake nicely, of course. And let's start painting the miniature. After we have this nice white color, after applying a few thin layers of Wraithbone, I will use again Wraithbone, but this time I will use some dry brush in the base of the miniature with again Wraithbone. And then I will use two colors. I will use Lead Belcher for all the metallic parts of the miniature. Like for example this metallic hand that he has, the joints of the power armor, because of course the power armor is going to be black, so I want some contrast, so that's why I will paint the joints in some metallic color. And also the chain, this little knife that he has here, and basically also some parts of here of the back. And then finally I will apply also Morphan Brown. I will use this one mainly for the straps that we can find here. And let's continue. And this is slowly starting to look like a proper Space Marine, so the next step is going to be using Balthasar Gold for painting this small cross here. And then I will use a lot of corn red, like a lot. I will use this for the details remaining here. I will use it for the weapon. I will use it for the eyes, the shoulder pads, the border of the shoulder pads as well. And of course for, well, this cable here as well. And of course the cape. I will use corn red for the cape. And let's do it. After that it should look much better, so let's continue. What I did for the cape that I didn't mention earlier, it was that I put some Abaddon Black mixed with water in the gaps. I gave it like a few layers and then I expanded it over the sides, and then I just used more corn red in the parts that are going to be like more exposed, and then I will like mix them nicely so I have like a nice transition. It's not too harsh. And this is basically what I do. Maybe one day I should make a video specifically for this, because it's like a nice and simple way to do it. And I like the result is quite nice. And as you can see now, our new sergeant is looking quite nice actually. So my next step is going to be start with the highlights of the power armor. First of all, I'm going to use Evil Sun Scarlet for painting the eyes of the miniature a little bit nicer, because of course this is the color that later I will use for the highlights of the red color. But as I will do the power armor and I like to paint from the things that are more covered to the ones more exposed, I will do the eyes now because it will be simple, and I will use the usual colors that I use for my Black Templars. Every single edge of the power armor I will use a layer of Dark Reaper. And for the edges that I'm going to consider more exposed, I will use on top of the Dark Reaper a little bit of Fenrisian Grey. I will try not to use it too much, sometimes I get carried away, so I will try to be as subtle as possible. But as I mentioned, Dark Reaper in every single edge of the power armor, and then Fenrisian Grey for the ones that are going to be more exposed later. So let's continue, let's do it, it's looking nice. And here we have our almost proper Black Templar Sergeant, a proper sword brother. It looks quite nice. I'm happy with the result until now. And before I apply the final steps, I will use some shade. First of all, I will use Null Oil. I will use this one for all the metallic areas. Like for example, we can see that in the arm and the weapon there's too much color. There's no difference between the different shapes of the miniature. And I will apply also Null Oil for the cloth a little bit, to apply a little bit more of shadow, especially in the gaps between the straps and the cloth itself. It will look nice after that, hopefully. Let's hope for that. And I will use Agrax Air Shade. I will use this one for all the brown parts and also for the golden ones. So let's continue. And of course, after applying some shades, the miniature looks nicer. We can see the differentiation between the straps and the cloth. The cross also looks nicer, and of course all the shapes in the metallic parts are more visible, and I like that. It looks better now. And for the next step, probably one of the last ones, I will use Corax White. I will paint this small shield here. I will do square and square on the top, and I will paint white the fire in the back. I'm not used to paint fire. I think that I have never painted fire properly, but the goal is that it should look nicer than it used to look, so at least I will try. And the first step is going to be cover everything in white, so hopefully it will look nice. But step by step, let's do first one the shield. And now it's where the challenge begins. I will try to paint the fire, and for that I would like to have like a transition of colors from the bottom to the top. And for that, first of all, I will leave the bottom and the base with white, and then I will apply Iriel yellow for the continuation. And as I don't have any kind of orange for the fire, I will try to mix Iriel yellow with corn red. And then after that I will use corn red, and for the tips I will use Abaddon black. So hopefully it will look nice, it won't look too bad. Let's try to do it. I will do my best, so let's do it. Okay, it's important to mention that in the end, instead of using corn red for the mix of orange and the red color in the fire, I used Evil Sun Scarlet, because when I was mixing them, this one was much nicer, so I decided to use this one. And about the fire itself, I have to say that it's not perfect, but I'm quite happy with it, because it's like the first time that I tried to do like this fire, and it looks quite nice in my opinion. I'm happy. I have a lot of room for improvement, but of course I will get better in the future. For now I'm okay with this, and for sure it looks much better than it used to look. And now to finish this miniature, the final steps is going to be to add some highlights. And first of all, I'm going to use lead belcher to paint these metallic parts around the fire, and then I will use Stormhost Silver to highlight the metallic parts of the miniature. Then I will use Corax White to highlight the whites, and then Retributor Armor to highlight this small cross here, or the golden parts, in this case only this. And finally, I will use Evilsan Scarlet for the highlights of the reds, basically the weapon, shoulder pads, and also the cape. So let's continue, it's going to be fun. Definitely the miniature looks much better with the highlights that we applied right now, but of course we are still missing something. This is a Black Templar, so of course we need some markings in this shoulder pad. I have already said a lot of time how I do these crosses in the shoulder pads. I even made a video about that, I will leave it in the description. So it's the time to add some nice cross here and the miniature will be finished. And of course for that, first of all I will use like a base of corn red, and after that I will use again Evilsan Scarlet, so it's just making a cross using the same colors that we have been using because of consistency. And after applying some grass in the base to complete the base of the miniature, I'm super happy with how it looks. My sergeant looks quite nice in my opinion. I'm super happy with how it looks. And if we compare it with how it used to look before, we can say for sure that my skills are much better. And it looks way better than it used to look before. So this is going to be like a nice addition to my Black Templar army. It's nice to have this custom sergeant, so I'm super happy. I can use this one with the Sternguard veterans. I also can use it with the Intercessors. So it's quite interesting, and I'm happy with the results. I'm very happy with this sergeant. And as usual, if you're still here, please consider giving me a like and subscribing. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.